Hosted by you/obvious mistake 7801. I, 36F, am a neurologist, and I absolutely love my patients and my job. I believe there is no greater honor in life than being able to help others. The road to my medical degree was not easy, and it was paved with many rejections. I was a troubled teen in high school, and I didn't get accepted into any colleges my senior year. I had to work my way up, starting with remedial classes at my local community college. When I finally got into medical school at 26, I was absolutely thrilled. I met my husband, 37M, in my third year of medical school, and we have been married for 4 years now. My husband works in marketing, and I make 3 times his salary. From the beginning of our relationship, I was very upfront about being unsure about having biological children. My dream was always to adopt from foster care, and my husband seemingly understood this. However, after his best friend had a baby boy last year, he began to really press me on having children. I was initially very against the idea because I was just beginning my career, and I wanted to wait a few more years before revisiting the topic of children. In August of last year, I found out I was unexpectedly pregnant due to a condom breaking during intimacy. I was initially considering termination, but after many heartfelt conversations with my husband, we decided to keep the baby, and he would quit his job and stay home until our daughter was old enough to start preschool. There were several factors that went into our decision to have him stay home with our daughter. 1. I make significantly more money than him, so financially, it just made more sense. 2. I am in the first few years of my career as an attending physician. After 4 years of med school and a 4-year residency, I am just starting to practice on my own, whereas my husband has been in his career for 15 years. 3. I was very clear I had absolutely zero desire to stay home and be a housewife. I respect stay-at-home mothers, but my work is my life, and I would go crazy at home all day. This just isn't a lifestyle I want whatsoever. 4. Finally, I am not comfortable putting my child in daycare until she is old enough to express herself verbally. As a victim of SA when I was young, I just do not trust people enough to leave my daughter in the hands of strangers when she would be unable to report abuse or neglect. Our daughter is 9 weeks old today, and I am preparing to return to my practice in a few weeks. This weekend, I left my husband alone with our daughter while I attended a medical conference out of state. The conference was amazing, but when I returned home, my husband began acting weird. Today, while our daughter was napping, I pressed him to tell me what was wrong. He completely broke down and said he doesn't think he can do this. He expressed how trapped, alone, and overwhelmed he felt all weekend. He now wants me to extend my maternity leave and is talking about trying to get his job back. This made me panic, and I asked, well, what will we do with our daughter now? He responded by suggesting I leave my practice and work from home. I said absolutely not, and he suggested daycare. At this point, I completely lost it and screamed, if I knew you were going to back out of your promise to take care of our daughter, I would have never had your child. I know I completely overreacted, and I would never trade our daughter for anything, I love her so much. But I am so upset with my husband, and I'm not sure how to move forward at this point. Update 3 months later. Hi everyone, it's been a few months since I made my original post. I did not expect my post to get so much attention, and I was frankly overwhelmed by it. To everyone who sent me kind and supportive DMs, thank you so much. I appreciate it more than you know. To those who sent me nasty DMs, criticizing me as a mother, you are part of the reason why 40% of female doctors go part-time or leave medicine altogether within 6 years of completing their residencies. Women can want both a career and a family, just like men have for hundreds of years, and that does not make us evil monsters. To those questioning why I was not on birth control, I addressed this in a separate comment, but hormonal birth control does not work for every woman. Even board-certified OB-GYNs will testify to this. After trying my best with every birth control option under the sun for nearly 10 years, I decided condoms and the pull-out method would be enough. Was this a stupid decision? Yes, but 40% of doctors are overweight, so we aren't always the best at taking care of our own health. Regardless, I have no regrets, I love my daughter and wouldn't change a thing. Okay, now for the actual update. A few days after I made my original post, I realized how awful what I said to my husband was. No matter how upset I was, I never should have used our daughter as leverage in an argument. Even if I had to quit my job tomorrow and become a single mom, I would still do it for her because I love her more than anything, and I would choose her every time. I still feel awful that I said this, it was truly a terrible thing to say. Another thing I dropped the ball on was not being more patient and understanding with my husband. For some context, my mother came from out of town to stay with us for the first 8 weeks after I gave birth. My husband contributed greatly. I'd honestly say they both did 50% of the work with the baby for the first week or so while I recovered. After that, we split the work between the 3 of us. So, for him to go from having two people supporting him to being on his own for an entire weekend in about 10 days was obviously a huge shock, and I should have realized this. His complaints about feeling trapped, overwhelmed, and alone are the exact reasons why I have no desire to be a stay-at-home mom. Yes, we had a deal, but I should have given him space to express his concerns openly without me losing my temper. I stayed at my sister's with our daughter for a few days after the fight to give my husband some space. He would come to visit her every day during that time, but we agreed not to talk just yet. When I came home, I apologized to him for mishandling the situation. To my surprise, he actually apologized too. He told me that he never intended to back out of our agreement, but he had become so overwhelmed that he wasn't sure he was capable of caring for our daughter properly. He apologized for giving up so quickly and for suggesting that I work from home, and he reassured me that, no matter what we decided to do, I should not leave my practice. At the end of his apologies, he said he wanted to give being a stay-at-home dad another shot. We then had a very long conversation about how we would handle things moving forward. He told me that caring for our daughter wasn't the overwhelming part, it was trying to keep up with the cooking and cleaning that was difficult. So, we decided to hire a maid and sign up for one of those meal kit delivery services. He also joined a new parent support group to help reduce his sense of isolation. 3 times a week, my sister-in-law has agreed to come over to babysit for a few hours so he can go to the gym or have some me time. I also told him that if at any point he feels like he can't be a stay-at-home dad anymore, he should please tell me. I made it very clear that while I might be slightly disappointed, I would be far more disappointed knowing he was burnt out and unhappy while caring for our daughter. Since then, we've also taken steps to strengthen our marriage, going on date nights once a week. I don't yet feel comfortable leaving our daughter with anyone besides family, so most of these date nights involve long walks with her in the stroller or Netflix and takeout on the couch, but hey, it's been working. As for the whole poking holes in the condom thing, no, I do not think this happened. I didn't even bother asking my husband because I felt that an accusation of that magnitude would be detrimental to our marriage, especially when it was already in such a fragile state. My husband has agreed to get a vasectomy so we don't have any more happy accidents. He's scheduled for later this year, and we are abstaining until then. This whole situation made me realize I needed to go back to therapy, and I've been seeing my therapist for about 6 weeks now. My childhood essay hadn't impacted my life for about 8 years prior to this, but having my daughter and dealing with postpartum anxiety has stirred up some really dark thoughts. I know I'm being overprotective due to my trauma, and I want to work through this so that I can be a good mother and a good partner. A lot of people told me to leave my husband, and I'm sure many reading this may still think I'm making a mistake. I know that I'm not. My husband had a weak moment and broke down, but he does not have a pattern of being unreliable, dishonest, or unsupportive. He supported me through my final 2 years of med school and throughout my residency. Please remember that my post highlighted the worst moment in our relationship, it did not show the 8 wonderful years we've had together.